In this video, I will be locating the organs and glands and describing the general function. First, I'm going to start with the salivary glands. The salivary glands secrete saliva. It's the fluid that moistens food particles, helps bind them, and begins the chemical digestion of carbohydrates. Many minor salivary glands are scattered through the mucosa of the tongue, palate, and cheeks. They continuously secrete fluid, keeping the lining of the mouth moist. The three pair of major salivary glands are the parotid glands, submandibular glands, and the sublingual glands. The parotid gland is the largest gland. It's anterior and inferior to the ear. It's a serous gland. It secretes a clear, watery fluid rich in salivary amylase. The submandibular gland is located on the floor of the mouth, inside surface of the lower jaw. Some serous fluid with some mucus. The sublingual gland is under the tongue. It's the smallest of the gland. It's the mucus type, so the secretion which enters the mouth through many separate ducts are thick and stringy. The pharynx is a cavity posterior to the mouth. It extends from the nasal cavity to the esophagus. The esophagus is the tubular organ that extends from the pharynx to the stomach. The pharynx and the esophagus do not help in food digestion. Both have muscular walls which function in swallowing. The pharynx connects the nasal and oral cavities and can be divided into the following parts: the nasopharynx, the oropharynx, and the laryngopharynx. The stomach is a J-shaped pouch-like organ, about 25 to 30 centimeters long. It's inferior to the diaphragm in the upper left portion of the abdominal cavity. The stomach receives food from the esophagus, mixes food with gastric juice, initiates protein digestion, has limited absorption, and moves food into the small intestine. The pancreas is an endocrine gland secreting insulin and glucagon to regulate blood glucose. It's also an exocrine gland of the digestive system. It secretes digestive fluid called pancreatic juice. Pancreatic juice contains enzymes that digest carbohydrates, fats, protein, and nucleic acid. The pancreas has a large head that fits into the curvature of the duodenum. The tail of the pancreas lies against the spleen. The liver is the largest internal organ. It's located in the upper right abdominal quadrant just beneath the diaphragm. It is a reddish-brown organ and well supplied with blood vessels. The liver carries on many important activities. It produces glycogen from glucose. It breaks down glycogen into glucose. It converts non-carbohydrates to glucose. It oxidizes fatty acids. It synthesizes lipoprotein, phospholipids, and cholesterol. It converts excess carbohydrates and proteins into fats. It forms a urea. It synthesizes plasma protein. It converts some amino acids to other amino acids. It stores glycogen, iron, vitamins A, D, and B12. It removes toxins such as alcohol and certain drugs from blood. Its role in digestion is to secrete bile. The gallbladder is a pear-shaped sac on inferior surface of the liver. It stores and concentrates bile. The small intestine is a tubular organ that extends from the pyloric sphincter to the beginning of the large intestine. It fills most of the abdominal cavity. It receives chyme from the stomach and liver and pancreatic secretions. It completes digestion of the nutrients in chyme, absorbs production of digestion, and transports the remaining residue to the large intestine. And lastly, we have the large intestine. It's named because of its diameter is greater than the small intestine. At a distal end, opens to the outside of the body through the anus. It absorbs some water and electrolytes and reabsorbs and recycles water and digests secretion. It forms and stores the feces.